the man who was rejected 1,000 times. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share a story that demonstrates the power of perseverance, self-belief, and resilience. How one man fought against overwhelming odds, disbelief, and harsh circumstances to achieve his dreams. That man is none other than Sylvester Stallone, the actor, writer, and filmmaker who created one of the most iconic movie characters of all time, Rocky Balboa. But before Stallone became a household name, before the world knew the underdog story of Rocky, he was just another struggling actor trying to survive in New York City. In the early 1970s, Stallone's life was far from glamorous. He had dreams of making it big in Hollywood, but the reality of his situation couldn't have been further from that. He was practically penniless, barely able to afford food, let alone rent. He lived in a cramped apartment and often had to rely on small, odd jobs just to get by. He auditioned constantly, knocking on every door he could find, but time and time again he faced rejection. In fact, Stallone later revealed that he was rejected by casting agents over 1,000 times. Can you imagine the toll that would take on someone's self-esteem? Every time he tried, someone told him, "You're not good enough," or "You don't have the look," or simply "No." Many people in his position would have given up, decided that maybe this wasn't the path for them. But not Stallone. Despite the constant rejection, despite the financial hardship, despite all the voices of doubt, both external and internal, he never gave up on his dream. He clung to his belief that he had something special to offer, that he was destined for more than his current circumstances. Around this time, Stallone went to see a boxing match between Muhammad Ali, the world heavyweight champion, and Chuck Wepner, a little-known underdog fighter. No one expected Wepner to stand a chance, but as the fight unfolded, something incredible happened. Wepner not only held his own against Ali, but he actually knocked him down. This fight deeply inspired Stallone. It was a real-life story of an underdog fighting against the odds, refusing to give up and going toe-to-toe with a seemingly unbeatable opponent. After watching the match, Stallone was hit with a wave of inspiration. He went home and, in the span of just 3 days, wrote the script for what would become Rocky, the story of a small-time boxer from Philadelphia who gets a once-in-a-lifetime shot at the world heavyweight title. The script was raw, powerful, and full of heart. In many ways, it was Stallone's own life story, the story of an underdog, beaten down by life but still refusing to give up. Excited by his work, Stallone began shopping the script around to movie studios, and again he was met with rejection after rejection. But then, finally, a studio showed interest. They saw potential in the script and offered Stallone $360,000 for it. Now, for someone in Stallone's situation, this was a life-changing amount of money. It would have solved all his financial problems, given him the stability he desperately needed. But there was a catch. The studio didn't want Stallone to play the lead role of Rocky Balboa. They didn't believe he was right for the part. They wanted to cast a big-name actor instead, someone with more experience, someone more marketable. Stallone was, after all, an unknown actor with little to no box office draw. In that moment, Stallone was faced with a huge decision. He could take the money and walk away, knowing that his script, his story, would make it to the big screen, even if he wasn't the star. Or he could stand his ground and insist that he play the role, even though that meant risking the entire deal. Now, many people would have taken the money. Most people, in fact, told him to do just that. They told him, "Take the $360,000 and run. You'll never get another offer like this." But Stallone didn't listen to them. He had a deep conviction that he was Rocky. No one else could play the part, because Rocky wasn't just a character in a script. Rocky was a reflection of Stallone's own struggles, his own fight against the odds. So Stallone refused the offer. He turned down the money because he believed in something bigger than just a paycheck. He believed in himself, in his vision, in his ability to bring the story to life. He wasn't interested in fame or fortune if it meant compromising the integrity of the story he wanted to tell. The studio came back with a counteroffer, significantly lower this time. They agreed to let him play Rocky, but they would only give him $35,000 for the script and a small salary to star in the movie. Stallone accepted. For him, it wasn't about the money. It was about staying true to his dream and proving the world wrong. And the rest, as they say, is history. Rocky was released in 1976 and it became a massive success. Audiences connected with the story of the underdog boxer, not just because it was a compelling narrative, but because it spoke to something deeper, a universal human experience of struggle, perseverance, and triumph. The movie was nominated for 10 Academy Awards and won 3, including Best Picture. Rocky Balboa became a symbol of hope and resilience, and Sylvester Stallone became a global star. But the most remarkable part of this story is that Stallone's journey mirrors the very story he wrote. He was the underdog. He faced countless rejections, doubters, and obstacles. People told him he wasn't good enough, that he didn't have what it takes. And yet, through sheer willpower, through an unshakable belief in himself, he fought back, he persisted, and in the end, he won. Stallone's story teaches us that success isn't always about talent or luck. It's about grit. It's about believing in yourself even when no one else does. It's about getting up after every failure, every setback, and continuing to fight for what you believe in. The world will often try to tell you no. It will throw obstacles in your path and people will doubt you. But if you have the courage to keep going, to keep believing, you can defy the odds. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, the next time someone tells you that you can't do something or that you're not good enough, remember this story. Remember Sylvester Stallone, the man who was told no 1,000 times but refused to give up. The man who fought for his dream and proved the world wrong. We all have our own battles to fight, our own mountains to climb. And like Stallone, we may face moments where the road seems impossible. But if we keep fighting, if we keep believing, there's no limit to what we can achieve.